Well, it's Saturday, September 24th, 2022, still. Um, I've had a long day already. I would say I just got back, but I've been here for a little while. After work, I went for a run, and it was nice weather. I thought it was fresh air, and petrichor was the word I was looking for. The smell, the earthy smell of aerosol that gets put into the air after a rain, after it hasn't rained in a little while. It's the human sense for it is more accurate and more sensitive than a shark's scent for blood in the ocean, parts per million wise. That's what I've read. Like 7 times more sensitive the human is able to detect this, because it's, I guess, a survival mechanic or adaptation, maybe, or leftovers from something else, to be able to detect rain, that something's rained recently. And maybe that's, yeah. So, anyway, and the temperatures were really nice, and and the weather for the rest of the day was going to be really nice. And I thought, yeah, I'll have a nice run. And unfortunately, everybody else had the same idea. There was a lot more traffic and pedestrians out there that required maneuvering and negotiating, and I had to, alter my trajectories a few extra times to account for the extra traffic. And my peaceful run became a little bit more stressed. And it's me that gets stressed out. It's not, the other people are, they're just minding their own business. They're doing what they're doing. And it's just me that gets bothered. And there's not that much I can do about it. It's like I'd like to say that I can get used to it. And it's like, well, not really. I'm kind of stuck with my how I am, and a lot of times it's like I'm already operating at capacity, and so when extra things happen out in the world, it's like it accumulates quickly, and if it doesn't dissipate, or I don't regulate it quickly enough, it can overwhelm me to the point of extra frustration and displays of you know tics, where I start having to release through movement or words or talking, to try to make little adjustments on the fly to release tension and stress and things like that. So a little bit of natural lighting. And I just got out of the shower, so my hair is a bit floofy and stuff. But it was a good run. 2 days ago I did the half marathon, by myself. 13. I did a little bit more. It was like 13 and a half miles, a little bit more than that actually. Close to 14, but I stopped. But today, after 2 days, I still went out there and did a 77-77, which I was clocking pretty good, and I got to my 34-minute checkpoint by 32 minutes. I've noticed that I've been getting to my checkpoints ahead of schedule regularly, and it's like I'm almost having to recognize, okay, my old time that I used to benchmark at, it's no longer there. So it's like, and I'm running for time too. So what I used to say was, I'm doing 9-minute miles. If I'm still, I get to an old place and it's like, well, I used to finish there at 77, but now I'm at 72 when I get to that place. It's like, well, okay, well, I keep going then, and I still count it as the same number of miles. So, I don't know. I figure it'll all average out and it doesn't really matter anyway. It's all just, up here, and it's all in your head. Exactly. That's part of the problem. But evidence abounds, and it is all real if it ever came time to, you know, what's the word? Demonstrate or put it into action as far as, doing something for some sort of public involvement or outreach or fundraiser or charity event, like a run kind of thing. And I could be doing that by myself right now, but it's by myself, and I don't like to organize and communicate and make contact and stuff like that. I just like I have my little routine and rhythm, and as it is, it works out right now. I'm not begged or asked or required or compelled to do much more than what I'm already doing. And maybe that's part of the problem and it makes me less interesting, but I don't know. That's how it is right now. And no one watches these things anyway, so it's like I am free to mess about and do whatever. And maybe people click through and they see different things and they think, what a strange person, and why is he the way he is? Because I don't have like any sort of explanation, nothing good, nothing for people to quickly digest and then dismiss me completely and validate my entire experience and existence as a human being, which is standard protocol for most people. If they can't use it or understand it, it gets dismissed completely, which makes sense as far as a survival mechanic. If it doesn't apply, if it doesn't resonate, if it doesn't make sense, then it's not for you. I am definitely not sharing anybody else's experience. I'm sharing my experience. And that's one of the reasons why I will not accept being anyone's sponsor any longer. I just don't think that's a good idea. Besides not being available like I think a sponsor should be, I can only give really the experience in which I was brought in. It's like I can't really tell you how to get sober, how to stay sober. It's like go to a treatment center, stay there for 90 days. It's like they'll watch over you. And it's like if you want this, it's like you'll do it. It's like there's no magic except the only magic is that there's no magic. You either do this or you don't do it. No one's going to watch you and check on you every. It's like. And I don't want to be somebody's person that they, just are going to call all the time. And then, I've had enough people relapse that that I was sponsoring, which is kind of like a made-up word, and it's not even in the literature. It was made up after the fact. And there's just, I've just been hurt, and I just don't want to take responsibility for somebody else, and then other people are looking at me or blaming me or feeling like I cannot for when the bad things happen, and it's like I should have said something different, or I wasn't available, and maybe they tried to get a hold of me and I wasn't there, and then they, well, of course they have to go and do, and it's like I can't talk anybody out of, it's like I don't have any recovered or sober people that I sponsored. I have dead people that I've sponsored that have relapsed and since died from unnatural causes, but drug related or alcohol related. That doesn't feel good. And the most recent one, just a couple weeks ago, um, he was, I went to treatment with him 6 years ago, you know, and he mentioned at the meeting, before, he asked me if I would be his sponsor. He asked me, he mentioned, I didn't know what his, if he was still sober, like where he was, and it turned out he was in his first 2 weeks, having relapsed multiple times since the last time I had seen him 6 years ago. And then he was trying again, and now he was 2 weeks in, and he was very shaky. I noticed that. And he asked me if I'd be a sponsor, and I told him a little bit of, basically a no. And I felt bad, but it's my standard answer nowadays. People would be better off with a prototypical, by-the-book sponsor that has all the stuff, everything, kind of rehearsed and by the book, and, have you prayed about it? That was my experience with my sponsor. It was anything I'd said that he didn't understand, or, he was just, his first instinct was, did you pray about it? Or, I guess that was about it, and, yeah, that just wasn't enough. And I'm working a very different type of program, because I'm a pretty different sort of person. Not your average person in recovery, or an alcoholic, or whatever you want to call me. Autistic, an autistic in Alcoholics Anonymous. And so it's like a lot of my recovery has been surviving the system, and not being bullied into being something that I'm not. Conform. And because you're supposed to recover and be who it is you are, but if you are, it's like, no, you're recovering incorrectly. You need to recover like this. And if you don't, it's like under threat. Well, threat of invisible enemies. Ooh, spooky. And but I seem to be doing okay, better than a lot of other people that preach about this, that, and the other. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with me being alone. That can backfire terribly, I think, for a lot of regular people. They need that social, constant maintenance, upkeep, and accountability, because they just don't know how to be by themselves, I guess. But I could see how, like, if they're alone with themselves, they'll talk themselves into doing what they already want to do anyway, which would be to drink or use drugs or whatever. They're what I guess they go. I don't know, but I'm much better off, because I get, it's like the opposite for me. I get stressed out by being around people. So anxious and paranoid, and feeling like I'm on parade and having to perform and be on, keep up appearances and the masquerade and facades and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm just rambling, kind of. And I guess the other thing, and I'll be writing about this at some point. It's just practicing my thoughts about it. But and what I was talking about yesterday, I think that she has reached some sort of understanding that I am just not available to her. And I think I was being friendly, and maybe a little bit, I was being nice, and I don't know what she thought or what she saw, but she thought or saw something different about me that she liked, and she just gravitated to that and wanted more. I paid her a little bit of attention that no one else seemed to pay attention. I just noticed her, and complimented her work. And that was something that no one had done. And she wasn't receiving any attention or, anything like that, recognition that, like somebody appreciated what she was doing and how she was doing it. Very organized, and so somebody finally noticed or whatever, and and so she wanted more, and she got a tiny little bit more, and just saw that I was a sort of a different sort of person, and she liked that. And it's like, I didn't like that she liked it because she wanted more, and then it became stopping by and trying to engage and get me to talk, and it's just like, it just got really weird and aggressive really quickly, and that just shut me down completely to silence. And it's like, we don't have anything to talk about, and so I don't know. And now she's just mad at me, and it's like, okay, I didn't want to be, I didn't mean to be mean. I didn't mean to be anything. Just our workspaces don't even overlap. And so I've just taken to avoiding even going through that or near that, because I don't want to have to do the awkward, anything. It's like, so I think the situation will just resolve itself. And, there'll be a lingering animosity, but what's new with that? That's just regular. That's standard operating procedure for being around other people. People don't get the right interactions with me. Then they get angry at me because I'm not being how they would want me to be for them, because I don't do the social contract correctly. There's like rules for how to be a person out and about, and I just don't have the energy or the desire to, I see other people doing it and I can fake it, but why? It's pointless to me. I'm not interested in just performing those rites and rituals for, because it's like an everyday thing. And it's like a trap of falling into it, because then people begin to expect it every day. And it's like, so I'd just rather people get used to me just not. And I'll just be the weird guy that doesn't. And you got so many other people, you got so many other people they want to go through these rites and rituals of the social contract every day. I don't. So, my loss. Dang it. I just miss out on all the great, wonderful small talk conversations. And sometimes it does get lonely, I admit, and sometimes I do feel alienated, and I do it to myself. But apparently it's okay with me. There are a few exceptions that I do stop what I'm doing and pay a little bit of attention to, just because they have something about them that interests me, or gravitates or gets my attention. Just something about their attitude or just their character or personality. And so I give them, but the regular it's like, no, I just don't want to participate or contribute in, and I don't want to endorse it either. Facilitate or legitimize or lend credibility to certain types of behavior. I just like, no, I don't support that at all. It's kind of, crude, I guess. It's like one of the reasons So, anyway, I'm glad this is buried and no one watches this far, because I don't have to worry about anyone ever seeing it, getting offended. And so I continue to monitor my interactions and minimize my interactions with other people, because that way, if I just avoid interactions with as many people as possible, they can't possibly get offended by their bad interactions that they're gonna get. Because even if they have good interactions, that's the exception. Because the very next few are going to be, I will be somewhere else. I won't be paying attention. They won't get the hi they're looking for. They won't get the good morning they're looking for. It'll seem like I'm angry, or I'll have a weird look on my face. But that's my neutral face. That's my regular face. And I don't want to feel like I have to stop to explain myself to anybody that, just like, oh, he's in a bad mood. It's like, no, that's my face. That's how I look. I don't wear and smile and, I don't know. And people are so finicky. And the other thing I was thinking about today was about, I swear I'm not crazy, but if a single person ever calls me sane, I just get insulted. It's like, don't call me that, because I don't believe it. And if I believe that, then it's like, ooh, that's scary. That's scary. And the same goes for, because I also have things about identity, and a few different kinds of identity. And I haven't gotten really deep into that because I don't even know myself. Just kind of exploring it about, like, what do I think about that? What do other people think about that? But I'm not really investigating too deeply because it's not really a high priority at this time. It doesn't concern me very much. I'm not pressed to figure it out because I am just the way I am. So to me, it's normal. But I feel like, a fluidity, kind of, in a way. I've been exposed to that terminology. And it's like, yeah, I can kind of see that. And especially with the psychology of it. But, it's like I don't like being called a man. I don't like that word. I get insulted by it just being lumped together with men. Like I identify with the gender. I was raised as a male, and I identify with that role. But as far as society and that sort of a gender identity, it's I don't like it because I don't like being characterized and stereotyped and lumped together with men. And what does that mean? It's like, am I just gender? I'd prefer to just be neutral. Really, I don't want to be classified and categorized and lumped together because people are, I guess, women have their own, whole thing, I guess. I don't know. But just leave me out of it. I can't, but I'm not allowed. I don't know how to not, So maybe the next best thing is just being confusing and, let my, because I sure don't do things in a very manly way, I don't think. And I don't move. Well, I really don't know. But I definitely confuse people, I think. And let them be confused. But also let them not ask me any questions. Just leave me alone. Yeah. I mean, it's all about the approach. I don't know what it is about some people that they approach me in such a way that it's okay. They earn my trust or my permission to interact with me. But then there are other people that just make certain assumptions and they just fundamentally strike me as, I don't know, not my sort of person. And it's like, and then when they begin to force try to like engage like multiple times. And it's like, and then I don't know. It just gets me upset and stressed out. It's like I just don't want to have her. It's like goodbye, and hope that that's the end of it. So, and I guess the other thing I thought about was how the person that was trying to bully me into being their friend or whatever. Recently, it was like they saw like a spark of something that they wanted to understand and they wanted to capture, and they wanted to like put a glass jar around it to try to tame it or keep it, and they just snuffed it out, and it's like, so yeah. Anyway, I should probably go. There's some shenanigans going on outside. And just people making noise for the sake of making noise. The human race. Outside. Isn't that fun? Don't I wish I could be out there with them? No, I don't. So, anyway, on that note, I'm going to go. So, next time.